Alright, this is a little late, but still, it's important. Oh, what in the hell? Okay. South Korean President Yoon reverses martial law after lawmakers defy him. Alright, let's get into it. Come on. Okay. Alright. Small little fuck up.
Attempt to day
국회의 계엄 해제 요구가 있어
South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol said on Wednesday he would lift a martial law declaration he had imposed just hours earlier. It comes after a standoff with Parliament, which rejected his attempt to ban political activity and censor the media. Earlier, South Korean soldiers entered the parliament building through smashed windows, apparently tasked with imposing martial law. Inside, furniture was used to barricade the entrance, and doors were broken.
This is literally dystopian. I am so glad that this didn't go through. And we can use this to have a basis on what to do when Trump tries this, or if Trump tries this. I think he will, but I can't see the future, and I don't know for certain.
Police scuffled with protesters outside as helicopters monitored the situation from the air. The move by President Yoon stunned observers around the world, including the director of the George Washington University Institute for Korean Studies, Celeste Arrington.
This was pretty shocking and seemed to be a sort of somewhat extreme move. I think he is an inexperienced politician. He never held political office before and has shown signs over the last months of being increasingly frustrated with the political logjam.
The White House said on Tuesday it was relieved that Yoon reversed course. Yoon declared martial law on Tuesday night to thwart what he called anti-state forces among his opponents. But outraged lawmakers rejected the decree in South Korea's biggest political crisis.
Wait, I want to go back a little. Anti-state forces among his opponents. Does that remind you of anything? Perhaps a particular now president-elect? Sorry, I had to grab something. But yeah, does that remind anyone of some rhetoric that a now president-elect has been spouting? If you don't know, I'm referencing Donald Trump spouting the exact same rhetoric. Or similar, at least.
What he called anti-state forces among his opponents. But outraged lawmakers rejected the decree in South Korea's biggest political crisis in decades. Lifting martial law was then approved by the cabinet early on Wednesday, according to Yonhap news agency. Under South Korean law, the president must immediately lift martial law if parliament demands it by a majority vote.
So glad they no longer have the martial law in place. Alright, let's read. South Korean President Yoon. Yeah. Alright, that's just what was in the. Alright. Protesters outside the National Assembly Parliament shouted and clapped. "We won," they chanted. One demonstrator banged on a drum. The main opposition Democratic Party called for Yoon, who has been in office since 2022, to resign or face impeachment. Even if martial law is lifted, he cannot avoid treason charges. It was clearly revealed to the entire nation that President Yoon could no longer run the country normally. He should step down. Senior DP member of Parliament Park Chandai said in a statement. South Korea is a nation. South Korea as a nation. Can't speak today. As a nation dodged a bullet, but President Yoon may have shot himself in the foot, said Danny Russell, vice president of the Asia Society Policy Institute think tank in the U.S. South Korean won currency came off more than a 2-year low against the dollar after Yoon's reversal, while exchange-traded funds linked to South Korean stocks similarly cut losses. One plunges against the US dollar after Korea martial law declaration. South Korean President Yoon declared martial law on December 3rd for the first time in the country since 1980. Jesus Christ. They haven't had a martial law since a few years. So this is like the first one in a while. And it was just a power move. Donald Trump could do the same. I don't know if he will. I'm not going to act like he definitely will. But I think it is likely he will. And we should use this as a blueprint on how to avoid that. Personally. As a nation. At least. Alright. Here we have a chart. Here's when the martial law was declared. Here's when the National Assembly revokes the martial law. Alright. Yoon's surprise declaration of martial law, which he cast as aimed at his political foes, was voted down by 190 lawmakers in Parliament. His own party urged him to lift the decree. Under South Korean law, the president must immediately lift martial law if Parliament demands it by a majority vote. The crisis in a country that has been a democracy since the 80s and is a U.S. ally and major Asian economy caused international alarm. After Yoon's announcement of martial law in a TV address, South Korea's military had said activities by parliament and political parties would be banned, and that media and publishers would be under the control of the martial law command. Helmeted soldiers briefly tried to enter the parliament building. Parliamentary aides were seen trying to push the soldiers back by spraying fire extinguishers. If Trump tries this, this is a basic step-by-step thing of like, hey, we should try this, or we should do that. I think it's likely that he will, but not certain. Nothing is for certain. I cannot see the future. You cannot see the future. And all we can do is pray to whatever god, goddess, or being in the universe that this doesn't happen to America. And that if Trump tries to do something similar, that we can have a similar outcome. But hopefully it doesn't even get tried. The White House said it was pleased Yoon backed down. We are relieved President Yoon has reversed course on his concerning declaration of martial law and respected the National Assembly's vote to end it, a White House spokesperson said. Earlier, the Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell said the U.S. was watching events in South Korea with grave concern. Some 2,500 U.S. troops are stationed in South Korea to guard against the nuclear-armed North. Yoon did not cite any specific threat from the North, instead focusing on his domestic political opponents. Jesus Christ. This wasn't even a threat from North Korea. This was just him wanting more power. It was the first time since 1980 that martial law has been declared in South Korea. Russell, who was now the top U.S. diplomat for East Asia under former President Barack Obama, said South Korea was now looking at the prospect of snap elections. Political uncertainty and domestic strife in South Korea is not our friend. Political uncertainty and domestic strife in South Korea is North Korea's friend, however. You can be sure that North Korea is licking its chops, he said. Yoon, a career prosecutor, squeezed out a victory in the tightest presidential election in South Korean history in 2022. He rode a wave of discontent over economic policies, scandals, and gender wars aiming to reshape the political future of Asia's fourth largest economy. Right. But he has been unpopular with his support ratings hovering around the 20% mark for months. His People Power party suffered a landslide defeat in a parliamentary election in April this year, conceding an unicameral assembly to opposition parties that captured nearly 2/3 of the seat. There has been more than a dozen instances of martial law being declared since South Korea was established as a republic in 1948. In 1980, a group of military officers led by Chun Do-hwan forced then-President Choi Kyu-ha to proclaim martial law to crush calls by the opposition, labor, and students for the restoration of democratic government. Alright, is that the end of the article? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Alright. This is really scary. And let's hope Trump doesn't try this. But if he does, we need to use South Korea as an example. This can be avoided. We need to fight like hell to make sure that if there's an election in 2028, that the Democratic candidate can and will win. Alright. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see y'all next time. Let's hope to the whatever y'all believe in, that this doesn't influence Trump to try a martial law here. Also, Penguins win. That was cool. That's cool today. Like, they won yesterday, I think. It was either yesterday or the day before in a 5-4 victory. So that is pretty cool. I like that. It was, yeah, the day before. Since this video is going out tomorrow, I'm going to bed after this. Actually, that's why I wanted to cover an article instead of a video, because I'm tired, y'all. Anyway, Penguins win. Goodbye.